Hello, I am Mia Barrera, and this is my summer reading project. I read Lord of the Flies by William Golding, and there is so much information in this book. I'm not going to be able to tell you all of it, but here's what basically happens. So these boys land, they have to evacuate a plane, and they land on a deserted island. And the first two boys that we get to meet in the book are Ralph and Piggy, and they find each other, and as they're walking along the beach, they find a conch shell. So they decide to use the conch shell and summon the other boys who have landed. And so soon the beach is like filling up with, a bunch of boys ranging from, little kids to boys in their teens. And, they're all kind of panicking, getting used to what's going on. So Ralph decides that they're going to need some authority, and they decide to elect leaders. Of course, Ralph is a leader, and he appoints another older gentleman by the name of Jack as the leader of the hunters, and they're going to later be in charge of keeping keeping the signal fire too. So they're in charge of food and the signal fire. So this boy named Simon and then Ralph and Jack go exploring to kind of get used to the island, and they decide they're going to make a fire to signal any passing boats or planes or whatever, to try and get rescued. So they kind of forget about the fire, and all of a sudden the fire gets out of control and it sweeps over the forest, and they're like, okay, we need to pay more attention, we can't just let that happen again. So Ralph is kind of the guy who wants to keep things in order, wants to make a system and, make everything work out. And he gets upset with Jack because Jack's team is in charge of, again, the fire and to signal boats and planes. And Jack's team leaves it unattended, and it goes out. And while the fire was out, a ship passes. And so Ralph was really upset with Jack about that. But that same day, Jack and the hunters hunted their first pig, and they were really excited about that. So Ralph decides he's going to call a meeting to again try and put things in order, and that's when the subject of the beast comes up. We learn about the beast a little earlier in the book, and it's basically the kids are having nightmares and they're getting scared that this beast is in the forest out to get them. And the older kids kind of try and explain to the little kids, there is no beast. It's a part of your imagination. It's only fear. You're imagining it in your head. Well, while the boys are sleeping one day, this person parachutes onto the island, and two twins who are in charge of keeping watch, they see it and they run to the group and they're like, hey, we see the beast, it's real. And this causes a little bit of fear. And the older guys kind of go and they check it out, and they see a disfigured, they're really seeing the parachute, but they see a disfiguration of something, and they think it's some type of mutated ape. So they get scared, and this causes some tension between Ralph and Jack, and so they kind of split into two separate groups. I'm just going to say that Jack is the gruesome one, and Ralph is more of the logical, trying to get things working type of person. And so Simon has a bad dream, and that says that the beast claims it's the Lord of the Flies, and he goes to the parachute man, and when he realizes that he concludes that the beast isn't something that's external. It's inside all of us. If that makes sense, he claims that the evil is really themselves. And so all I can say next is that a bunch of chaos happens. I can't give away the main shocker of the book because then it wouldn't be a shocker. And let's just say there's a big fire and Ralph barely gets out alive and a bunch of stuff happens. But you have to read the book because it shocked me and I still can't believe it. I was kind of upset. I don't know. Do the boys get rescued? Do they start a society on the island? Do they get along? I don't know. You're going to have to figure that out. I'm going to read you a few quotes from the book that I thought were important. Well, this one's not really important, but I really like Piggy. He's kind of the underdog. So, in chapter 1, he first he's introducing himself to Ralph, and he says, "I don't care what they call me," he said confidently, "so long as they don't call me what they used to call me at school. They used to call me Piggy." And, he said this in confidence to Ralph, and he really didn't want Ralph to tell the rest of the boys that they called him Piggy, because he didn't, want them to call him Piggy. And it broke my heart, because, he's the underdog. He's just really sad, because he's kind of upset about it, and I just feel for the kid. My next quote is, they're trying to get a little society get together. So they say, we've got to have rules and obey them. After all, we're not savages. We're English, and the English are best at everything. So it's kind of ironic because they end up being savages, and apparently the English don't do everything right. Okay. So the next quote I've got is, it's the fear scene. When they're talking about the beast and the teenagers are kind of talking to the little kids about it being in their heads. So it says, "Fear can't hurt you any more than a dream. There aren't any beasts to be afraid of on this island. Serve you right if something did get you, you useless lot of crybabies." So you can tell, they show no mercy to these little kids, and I just thought it was very important, because it's kind of true, fear can't hurt you. It's okay to be scared, but in the end, it's not what's really going to hurt you. I can't really understand it. I just really like the quote because I believe in it 100%. And my final quote is when Simon approaches the group and he says, "Maybe there is a beast. Maybe it's only us," which is true. Inside we have evil, all of us. And he's trying to explain that what they're scared of is not something that they don't know of. It's themselves. And it's true, because in the end, they're not running away from a mythical beast. They're running away from each other. And that gets me to the theme of the whole story, which I think is pretty important. I see it as child psychology. These kids get stranded on this island, and they're kids. They're unknowing. So the animal instinct kind of kicks in that, we're all savages. We're all animals. It's fend for yourself. And to me, that's really important, because when we're in, the inside world, we don't realize that we're really animals. We act the same way, and, whatever it takes for us to survive. And in a way, it also relates to politics. People will step on each other and do whatever it takes to get elected or get to the top or whatever. And I can see it both ways. You know, a child with instinct or a politician. And so that, yeah, that's my theme. I couldn't really sum it up into one word. And so I don't really know how I would react on an island full of boys. But my brother, my 10-year-old brother, Donovan, drew me this picture of what he thinks would happen if I was on a deserted island with a bunch of boys. Apparently, I don't get out alive, so I don't know. I hope that never happens. Well, I read Lord of the Flies, and so thank you.